Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. As the last chance qualifiers continue on around the world, lots of questions as to what the rosters are going to be for the teams that have been already eliminated by the Americas LCQ. 100 Thieves are certainly one of these teams, especially with questions around their finances and what they might look like next season. Lots of discussion as to whether Asuna will still be there. He says for now he's still part of 100 Thieves, but that's not necessarily guaranteed after the World Championship, when potentially these contracts will be up for renewal or potentially at an end. What changes should they make, if any? Very much intrigued to hear your perspective in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Now this is a remarkable clip here from this Team Secret versus Gen.G game. I've not really ever seen an ace quite like this. The first couple of kills, fair enough. Finds himself in a nice corner, gets the first two. But the third and fourth kill are just spectacular. Like, he doesn't even really, I think, mean to kill the third guy. But I don't know, somehow it happens and he gets the ace. So that was just disgusting. And there's plenty more where that came from. Because yesterday was an absolute, it was complete chaos, to be honest. Especially this series. Zeta versus the RRQ guys. And if you're a Zeta Division fan, I feel bad because you might not even be with us anymore. You might have had a heart attack after this series, unfortunately, because, I mean, before we even get to this final map of the series, Game 1, RRQ won 13-2 on Haven. And if you're a Zeta fan, you're thinking, alright, here we go again. Somehow we've just choked when it mattered, and the LCQ is not going to go away. You win the split, though, 13-8 if you're Zeta, and then you go to Ascent. And it's just such a ridiculous game. So it's 8-4 at the half, then RRQ bounced back with a massive start to the second half, tied up at 12-12. And then, despite the fact that both halves went 8 defensive rounds, every round after that until round 36 was all offense. So it's just going offense all the way, and then Zeta win a defense, and you're thinking, alright, chalk it up, GG, like, well played everyone. Zeta are going to close this out now because offense always wins. And then there's 2 more defensive rounds in a row before eventually Zeta get over the line in round 40. Just a ridiculous map of VALORANT, right? And Dephh actually breaks the record for the most kills in a single map, I believe, at least on this level, with 42. The previous record was from Natank, I believe, just the other day, who had 40 in the Ascension. But yeah, 42 in 26 in 40 rounds against RRQ. Ridiculous. So Zeta win the series 2-1. No sweat at all. Absolutely. They get through and they advance to the next round, where they will play. Actually, they're playing pretty much right now against Team Secret. That 2-0'd Gen.G. RRQ drop down to play Gen.G in the losers. One of these teams qualifies. 3 of them do not. In the EMEA side, though, it's slightly different, and that's what we're going to get into now. It's kind of funny how far, to be honest, this Na'Vi team have fallen off. I don't exactly understand how, and also I don't understand, because we're going to discuss a bit of Rostermania potential today, what Na'Vi will do if they are eliminated. They might still make it, but as it stands, it's looking somewhat suspect. Angel gets killed within literally 3 seconds at the start of this game, which is kind of impressive, and the trend continues. They got bodied. I don't know what's going on with Na'Vi, but they have fallen off a cliff. Now, KOI are decent, for sure, but I have a hard time believing they're good enough to be beating Na'Vi. 13-6 on Split, 13-3 on Lotus. Just looked so lost. I don't know what's happened here, to be honest, to Na'Vi and their coaching staff like Doom Bros, and obviously Angel will definitely be under some flack here because, you know, these guys, Sagetsu, zyppan, Shao, like cNed, these are phenomenal players, and Na'Vi were really good last year. They bring cNed in, of course no longer Ardis is there, but still the rest of the guys pretty much staying around, and cNed's obviously very talented himself. He's on the Neon, he's on the Sage, like, it seems a bit of a mess, right, to be honest, what they're playing on over there. But still, like, they get completely blown out the park. So they will go down to face Karmine Corp, because Karmine Corp lost to Giants 2-0. 2 of these teams qualify, right, instead of just 1 in the other regions, because Fnatic won the event in Masters Tokyo, so they got another spot for their region. So right now, the favourites will be KOI and Giants, 2 Spanish teams in part, to qualify through, and Na'Vi, like, who were certainly a big favourite to at least make it, are looking very suspect right now. They play later on today to see if they can continue, but yeah, not sure exactly what's happened to this team, but there will be big changes, I'm sure, there if they fail to go any further than they presently are. Let's talk the Americas then. It re-begins tomorrow with C9 versus Lev to determine the team that will face Crew in the grand finals, and if Cloud9 lose here, they will surely look to make changes as well next season. I see some people saying, oh no, not many teams are going to make moves, but I'm almost certain that a lot of teams will. Some teams might not decide to, you know, the likes of an NRG or an EG, for example, if they do well at Champions, they might stick it out. But any team that goes out in the last chance qualifier very much has to consider their options, especially when there are other factors in play at the moment. It's not like these teams all have infinite money, right? We even saw with Cloud9 at the start of the season, they apparently had these potential financial issues or whatever. That was at least the rumor, and I think there's got to be some truth to that, because when Ye was dropped and they said, oh, you know, we just made this decision for these reasons, and Ye was kind of implying like there's more to this than meets the eye as to why Ye and Vanity respectively got dropped. Now, looking back on it, with Rooney and Jet coming in, they made some great decisions there in terms of upgrading their lineup for cheaper budgets, you would imagine, right? And cheaper salaries in play. And it's the same story with the other teams as well, especially teams like 100 Thieves. If you guys have watched a recent podcast episode that Nadeshot did, talking about their Call of Duty team especially, but he also said that really it's across the entire organization, they've got to cut costs on their esports side. They can't afford, with the lack of sponsorships that are not so lucrative as they would like them to be, to pay all this money, and they've got to be sustainable and sensible as a franchise and as an organization as to how they fund their rosters. So on their Call of Duty team, they're cutting salaries significantly. They've admitted that they're not going to be having a particularly competitive roster next season in the Call of Duty League, and it was also implied that they might have to take a similar approach to their Valorant side, which might mean that even if they want to sign TenZ, even if they want to, you know, sign Ye and make an upgrade, they might not necessarily be able to. So either they renegotiate potentially lower deals with their current players, or they make changes from their current team away from those guys to pick up some younger talent, the likes of Jake and Rooney that have just seen great success on Cloud9, and try and do a similar thing on 100 Thieves for potentially a more affordable situation. Now, Valorant might be a slightly different one because there is going to be the in-game items. I think they're going to certainly add next year. The teams get a cut of the Champions bundle. The money from that goes down to the teams, at least in part, so that's a good thing. Not just the teams that make Champions, I believe. And then also next year they'll add, you know, Sentinels skins, 100 Thieves skins into the game, and the teams will get a percentage, probably a quite large percentage, of the revenue from that. So it could be more sustainable, but I definitely think these teams will be looking at their options. So saw a couple of tweets here from the Sentinels guys, but I'm very much interested in 100 Thieves as well, because Asuna and Derek and these players, there was lots of talk from FNS before the LCQ when 100 Thieves go out, as I think many expected them to at some point. What are they going to do? Asuna says, you know, sorry for the sad year. And FNS also was like, well, you know, look, Asuna, he's been around for a long time on this roster. They haven't had much success. Is he the common denominator?
Damn. Too many dice spotting.
Who am I kidding? My knees are going to kill after this.
Oh, the X game for the 14 months. Appreciate it. Are you going back to New York, you're saying? I'm definitely going to go back to New York. Whether it's this, hopefully it's like in the next like 2-3 days.
The one right here.
If not, unlucky. I don't know exactly what 100 Thieves needs from me, content-wise. So, yeah. I'll have to stay until that gets sorted out. And I am still 100 Thieves, yeah. Guangdong Tigers? No, I'm more of a Shanghai Sharks kind of guy. Wait, check Twitter!
What? What am I looking at, Twitter? What am I looking at? You gonna DM me it? Wait, are we queuing? Hello?
Q, but look at what I just got sent!
Yeah.
No, that is good.
No,
this guy's
please.
funny. I might follow him back for that one.
Please post that on Twitter. That's a banger. That is a banger. Wait, Mike's, have you seen it? Wait, Mike's. This is a banger. No shot.
Wait, that is pretty funny. But I don't want people to send them hate. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I think
I doubt he'll get hate. Show. Can I show stream?
You can show it to the stream, but I'm not gonna tweet it because there's no point. I hate tweeting. I think it's funny though.
Oh my web. Wait.
That's what I get sent, bro. After losing one ranked game, fuck me, bro. Honestly, I appreciate the offer. It's nice to know that I have a backup.
Yeah, bro. Hey, if 100 Thieves doesn't work out, Northwood Esports. Trying to go to school?
My grandma would be ecstatic. Does he think like I'd go from tier 1 to tier 2 to like I'll assume like collegiate is like tier 3?
Was it like?
Does he think I'm like
I love you?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, wait. Does he think I won't get any? Like, wait, was I that bad?
You're pretty like you're pretty bad. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
No, you weren't like that bad. You were.
Fuck me.
You're definitely not college bad. You're like franchise good still, mate. Don't worry.
So he says that he's still contracted to 100 Thieves, as he will be for at least the time being. I'm pretty sure a lot of the contracts are written such that they end shortly after the World Championship, because, you know, you're not going to sign a player for their contract to end before champs, and then you might make champs, and then you know, what do you do then? So the contracts run until after the World Championship. Asuna and the rest of the guys will be signed until that point, and then after then, decisions will be made by 100 Thieves as to what they decide to do. Asuna, I think, has been a great player for these guys. I'd be surprised if they don't keep him around. But at the end of the day, there were some, you know, tough recent performances here. I think Bang has much more potential than maybe he showed recently, and there's an argument to say that this team on 100 Thieves should be good. And maybe with Sean Gayers and a coaching perspective still, this team would be way better than they were. Cryo has turned up, I thought, in the latter half of the season, so dropping Cryo for Yay, even if they could afford it, doesn't really, I think, move the needle for this team, let's be honest. So they might go for a substantial rebuild elsewhere. There was also that pretty funny clip on Xander's stream where Asuna was offered this, like, you know, tier 4 collegiate league offer, and he was like, oh, maybe I'll consider this one if 100 Thieves get rid of me. So I'm sure Asuna will probably get better offers than that. I thought it was pretty funny that he was like, well, you know, at least I've got something on the table, as and when 100 Thieves might decide to move in a different direction. So I'm expecting big changes from many of these franchises. I think 100 T will be among them, but to predict what they're going to do now, it's very early days. But Asuna still seems confident enough that he might well be around there still next season. Just one final thing to mention from Ye, I thought was very interesting, and I definitely agree with this assessment actually, that his opinion on the best player in the world is Leo. Not a player that gets as much love as he should. People look at, they look at Fnatic basically, they look at Durka, they look at Alpha, and the star players, and they look at Chronicle as well. But I actually think, and I've said this for some time, that Leo is the one that impresses me the most, just because he makes no mistakes, you know. Every single round, Leo is having positive impact. He doesn't really make any errors. He's always there when necessary, and Ye credits him as the best player in the world right now, and he also says that he would love to play against those Fnatic boys, but unfortunately, that's not happening right now. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.